Hi, and welcome to the Sam Dever Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Dever. In this episode, I talk to music artist and producer MOA. I've known MOA for almost 20 years and have worked with him on several projects. He is a man of many talents and is never afraid to say what is exactly on his mind. I sat down with MOA at the M Resort in Las Vegas, and we had a conversation. Let's see, are we recording? Yes, we are.
Testing.
So
Good to go.
we're good to go.
Nice.
Here we are.
Yeah. Vegas.
Yeah. This is surreal, man. This is surreal.
Man. Many years in the making.
20 years. Almost 20 years since we first met.
Yeah, right.
8th grade.
That's
Yeah, it was 8th grade
crazy.
at the YMCA in Canton playing pickup ball. And
Insane.
I'm driving here, and it didn't really hit me till I was driving. I'm like, well, wait, what are we going to... It's not coming up with stuff to talk about with you. It's what not to talk about with you.
We talk 2 to 3 hours every other night anyway, so
That's
not that frequently, but every time it's like, it's you, any of the other homies, I'm like, look down and be like, dang, it's been 2 hours. Like, I got to get off the phone. I got stuff to do.
I know. It's almost like we can't even... It's like we can't do a short call. Like, it's like... If I talk to you, I know it's a 2-hour conversation. I know pretty much what I was going to do that night is pretty much done.
It's just so much to go through.
Yeah. Well, first time seeing you in person, man. How are you?
I'm great, man.
You good?
Just living the dream.
Yeah.
Trying to stay COVID free.
Yeah.
It's been when was the last time we saw each other?
Before the shutdown.
Was it?
Yeah, we haven't seen each other this entire time.
Yeah, it was. Korean barbecue rings a bell. I think you and KG and
it's probably been
it's been that long?
9-10 months.
Yeah.
I've lost all concept.
I don't know what day it is. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That's crazy though. That's a long time. But this is what this is what COVID's doing. Mm. My mom would be out here every other month, it seemed like, and we haven't seen her in forever. So it's just bizarre times. Mm. It's really interesting to be an observer. So.
And again, like, we could probably do an entire podcast times 10 on what we think of everything going on. Because it's like you don't know what's going on. You just don't know. There's just so much uncertainty. And even like when even like doing this podcast, I'm like, all right, I'm doing this podcast. I'm putting together a plan and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But then it's just like, shit. Like, is the world going to be around here in a month? Right. Should I be doing something else?
I got to execute and worry about being alive? Interesting.
Yeah, it's like, should I be doing something else right now? Should I be getting a cabin in the woods?
Well, that's definitely, my plan. So it's coming along. But that's been my thing. Mm-hmm. The beginning of 2020, I'm like, I've got 30 tracks to release musically. I've got movies that I'm writing for you and Ford. I've got, I really dove in, and you kind of look at your creative exploits and you're like, what the fuck does this matter to anything that's going on right now? Mm. And me particularly having kind of a little bit more dialed in content in terms of who might mess with it. I don't have easy listening music. Like, you listen and you might hear some things that make you, question tenets you've held for your entire life. So it's like going that deep and trying to write that stuff and then put it out and doing all the minutia behind what it takes to, because it's not just you make a song, you throw it out there. I'm playing the same 4-bar snippet to just make sure that there's not a pop or this, that, and the other. And it's still not mastered fully, in terms of what would be comparable to a radio track or what have you. But, you make do. So it's like when you see what's going on in the world, civil unrest, protests against police brutality, division being sowed everywhere. It's like, you're like, am I taking a part in that? Am I putting out stuff? Because my stuff is talking about things that have to do with social commentary and whatnot. It's like, you don't have the energy sometimes. I didn't stop writing. I didn't stop like working on my stuff, but I just said, man, I'm not gonna put anything out right now. What's the point?
And there's so many different ways to go with that. Because, well, first off, I wanted to say, it's interesting what is happening right now, because a lot of our relationship, both musically, artistically, and conversationally, if that's a word.
I think it is.
Okay. You would have corrected me if it's not. You see, I thought about this, man.
I'm like, bro, you didn't use that right. Probably.
Yeah.
Nope.
There's people that know me, but like know me. So,
you know me. Like,
right. So like, you'll just tell it to me straight. Well, anyway, like, a lot of the music we made when we first started doing it, like, had to do with exactly what is happening right now.
That's bizarre.
What's crazy. So we'll definitely have to do something with that.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Your music, man, like, I love your music, man. I'm not just saying this because you are who you are to me, but you're literally one of my favorite MCs. In my opinion, you are one of the greatest MCs unknown, like that people don't know. Like,
I appreciate
I'm bumping
that.
Gun No. Shout out to Ryan
I believe
Pineda.
it too. I didn't for a long time. I really didn't. But I know nobody does what I do.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I'm very comfortable saying, that my art is incomparable. It's not incomparable. It's comparable, but it's like, it's kind of like a distillation of all these different things that I picked up over the years. But I know nobody does what I do. Because when people hear it, specifically like family and different people like that, people who are close to me, they sometimes are like, that's you? Like, what? I didn't know you could sing. I didn't know your voice could sound like that, because I'm just not, I do have an ego, but I don't need to be out here. I don't give a fuck. I don't need anybody's validation for what I'm doing. I'm just going to do it. But when you start to look at other musicians and people who have absolutely no talent and they make, some sort of monetary gain from it, it's like, okay, I know I have to be out here just for the possibility to pick up some coin. It has nothing to do with the art, because I've detached. It's I don't know who this quote's attributed to, but it's like, once you create art, you have no attachment to it. Whatever anybody says about it is just what they say about it.
It's something Rick Rubin would have said.
It might have been something that I'm paraphrasing from him, but it's like, it's just, the art is going to be the art. Like, when people are painting these different paintings, and you can go from Dali to Miro to Picasso to all these different people, and they have different style all the way to the Baroque and the weird oil paintings that look real and the eyes move with you when you're moving. Like, nobody cared what anybody thought about the style and what they were doing. And that's the same thing with the hip-hop stuff. I say what I say, whether it be through this medium, podcasting, just tweeting stuff, and people secretly being mad and not saying anything to me, or actually spitting. It is just my style. And I've finally come to that point where I'm like, I don't give a damn what anyone really thinks about it, but I want you to consume it and pay me for it. So it's like, it's two different worlds. It's like, I'm a creative business person anyway, by nature and by profession. So then it's like, it's the duality of like, you're creating your art for the creativity and enjoyment and just your own self-gratification or aggrandizement. But then it's like, once you start trying to monetize those things, you can't look at your art in the way you do when you're creating it if you're selling it as a product. So now I'm just looking at the art. I do my art. I feel how I feel in it. Hopefully it evokes that feeling with someone else. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But you can purchase it. And so it's a weird thing for an artist.
Well, that's one thing about you. Well, yeah, that's one thing about you too, is you don't compromise your art. You may tone it down once in a while, but like I was going to say, like, knowing you and knowing that you are one of those people, and this is something different I wanted to talk about just in general.
Yeah.
ever since I've met you, I've told people about you. You probably the best at this of someone that you do not care what people think. You are going to let your opinion be known, and you will do it with confidence and a straight face, whether someone agrees with you or not, whether you know if you're right or not. Like I'm still working on that, and I'm finding there's so much freedom to be able to do that. I have to tell you, I told you on the phone, I was in Upland 100%. At a bank. At Wells Fargo.
The old stomping ground.
And your old Inland Empire. And it's a huge line, only like one teller.
Yeah.
It's obvious we're going to be in there a while. And this guy in the way back just goes, "Excuse me, excuse me," like really, really loud, and said, "Excuse me, sir," to the bank manager.
Yeah.
"There's a bunch of people in line and there's only one teller.
What are we doing here?"
It's like, we need to fix this, and like this, and like they worked it out, and then someone's like, "Thank you for saying that," and he goes, "Hey, where I come from, a closed mouth don't get fed."
100%.
Just like
100%. In a couple of my lyrics and a few different songs, I throw in, "You don't get fed being quiet. You don't win being quiet." You know, it's like, and to clarify, the reason that I've pretty much always been that way is because I stand on the side of truth. I don't pick sides. Mm-hmm. If I feel confidently about something, whether or not it like ties into my beliefs or my belief system or emotionally or whatever it might be, if I am disagreeing with someone and like spitting facts and being like, "No, this is what it is," it's like, because you can. And not everybody knows this, and I get that. I've started to learn that as I've gotten older, become a dad, all that type of stuff. It's like, I'm coming to you with facts that are vetted. Yeah, I was just saying that, to summarize, because I'm pretty sure I was on a bit of a tangent.
There's just so much we can talk about. I'm just like, for sure. We need like 12 hours.
Yeah, but no, you were saying the whole thing about just being an outspoken person, strong in your convictions,
standing up for yourself.
Yeah, I've always been that person. And the thing is that people misconstrue about me, and just naturally aggressive people anyway, is that we don't look out for the little guy or whatever. You went to high school with me. I was friends with everybody, everyone. You know, I was the head of a service organization that had from the nerds to the weirds to the goths to the I mean, it had everybody. And I always felt like, hell, if nobody else is going to say something, I am. High school, basketball, Dunlap. I said too much, didn't get to play for the next 4 games. But what I said about a certain gentleman who came to the game with 2 left shoes was just that. You know, you going to give this man PT, and he came in here with 2 left shoes? I'll never forget that, because it felt, it's hilarious thinking back, but it felt so good to say it, because I knew that wasn't kosher. I knew that wasn't something that would be like, "Oh, you know what? You're right. You're going to play." I knew that was going to burn the bridge, but I also did it kind of for myself in a way where I'm just like, I don't care what's going on around me. I don't care what's being shown to me. I firmly believe in the things that I believe, and I believe in seeking truth, not to necessarily confirm the belief or the bias or what have you, but to shore up what I thought was correct. And if it's not correct, I'll deviate. I'll move. I'll pivot. I'll be like, "Oh, you got a great point." How many times have we had conversations where I'd be like, "I don't know." You'd be like, "Well, I mean, this is what it is," and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "Okay, cool." It's not always asshole, direct. You know what I mean? There's subtleties to it. And obviously people don't get to see it.
I'll never forget when a girl in high school came up to you and said, "I just want to let you know that you are an asshole." And you looked at her. I'll never forget
I remember that.
Didn't flinch. She just said, "Thank you very much." Yep. And just like, you know, like most people. But I have noticed as we've gotten older, like you have seemed to found a pretty good balance.
Well, I just can't say everything all the time.
Unless you're making your music.
Exactly. And that's where I've channeled it. Now I can say whatever I want, you know, do my little podcast once every 3 years. I could do that, you know.
What's the podcast, just so people know?
MOA Man Musings. MUSINGS. MOA Man Musings.
That's on Instagram, Spotify.
Everywhere.
All that.
And it's just me ranting. It's like, it's literally like, it's pretty cathartic too, because it's like having a conversation with yourself about things that you're thinking about. And then kind of what I want to do with that is just promote a little bit different thinking. I just feel like, and you know, not to denigrate anybody or put somebody in a box or anything, but it's like, I think people now that we have so much technology at our fingertips and everything is so quick, it's like, oh, it's the same with information. It flashes across you. You might read a byline or see a post or do this or do that. And you're like, oh, you know. But it's like, okay, that's surface. And that's easily manipulative. But once you start diving below the surface, which I do in my podcast and with my music, you start to see something that is in front of everyone that everyone is not seeing. It's like me and you could look at the same spot. You're going to see other things than I see. And that's the one thing that I think becoming a father helped me with. And then just getting older to being like, I'm not trying to fight people all the time. Like, I don't want to cause problems. I'm not here to do that. But I'm also not afraid to say whatever I'm going to say. You're not just going to talk crazy to somebody and get away with it. I'm going to say something.
I was going to bring that up, fatherhood. How has fatherhood changed you? What have you learned from it?
A lot. I've learned patience, you know, how to be focused and determined for someone other than just me, because I struggle with that. Like, I don't care what's going on around me sometimes, and that leads to depression and anxiety and stress and all that. It's like, I'm just working, I'm trying to get this done, I'm trying to focus and make sure I'm, you know, you can't do that all the time. And so with a child, it pulls you out of that. It don't matter how I feel or think or whatever is going on. He wants pancakes in the morning. He wants to have a dance party. He want to talk, and you know what I mean? So you have to just look at life a little bit more, well, I guess a little less harsh. Because obviously, you know me, I dive deep in terms of the goings on, and also the way I've grown up, being able to see, you know, what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do firsthand. It's like, I got this little baby boy, but it's a world out there that's not waiting for him. And so it's very difficult to balance just being present and you know, attentive for him. And that's the biggest thing that it's helped me with. And it's also helped me be a little bit, I guess, softer in my convictions. Like, I don't have to beat somebody to death with my point of view, or like, if you don't want to hear it, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to talk about it, you don't want to talk about it. I just move on and handle my business. But it's all been positive. It's all been positive. It's like, there's a reason I waited until I was 30 to have a child. I was scared and, you know, just didn't think that I would be selfless enough to take on the challenge. But I love it, man. I have someone who, you know, what I believe and what I am doing is paying off. Like, that's the payoff. When people look at him and they say different things about him, whether it's, oh, he's cute or he's intelligent or he's so well behaved and all that stuff, like, you know, I'll take that. That's a check for me. You know, I love that, because that gives me some confirmation and validation.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, so a lot of our friends who have children, but I mean, obviously, as close as we are, me watching you through your process and watching your son grow up, like, it's just awesome to see, like, and it's inspiring. Like, you've set a really good example, and like, you are.
Thank you.
I guess what I'm leading to.
I could probably smoke less cigarettes, less weed, drink less, those types of things, but you know.
Well, also too, like what's interesting about it, I don't know if I've noticed in the podcast I say interesting like 50,000 times. I'm trying to get away from that word. One thing I've noticed with you in fatherhood, it has not stifled your creativity at all.
It did though for a very long
time.
Did
it? Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, yeah, that was my question. Is it? I know. I talked to all you.
No COVID. Pardon me.
I talked to all you guys when this was first going on, and like all of you have like bags under your eyes in the first 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're not going to sleep.
Yeah. Which I'm a night owl anyway, so I was like, okay, cool. I'm up at 4 a.m. Like,
is it really hard raising a child, especially in the beginning?
There's moments. Like I was in the when he was born, I couldn't figure out how to fucking swaddle him for the life of me.
Swaddle?
Yeah.
What's that?
It doesn't matter because I'm never using it. So, no, but it's like you put the baby in, you lap over one, you tuck over and wrap the other, or excuse me, see, I don't know. You wrap this, you tuck that, you wrap that. I actually have an invention that would help men like me. That is it's just a cutout perfect template to do a swaddle. But I'm trying to do it with a square, and I'm trying to triangle it, and I'm like, damn, I ain't done geometry since high school. Like, I'm literally having this thought. I hadn't slept, for, I think it was almost a day and a half at that point.
Oh, my gosh.
Because, like, the baby has to be fed every hour. You got to make sure, they're not choking and coughing and all these types of things. So it was difficult because... Yeah, I know it was difficult. I didn't really realize it in the moment until kind of hindsight or like a couple hours later when I'm like, I'm tripping. Like, I need to get some sleep because this is crazy. I start crying and I can't swallow and I can't swaddle and I can't do anything. Pause. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And it was a mix of obviously the exhilaration of having a child, making sure that everything went perfectly. Everything that it was. But yeah, there's definitely been moments where it's difficult because, we don't have family out in Vegas.
Right.
So it's me and the lady taking care of Kobe. Obviously, he was going to school with the whole COVID stuff. He hasn't been. And I'm doing the whole homeschooling thing.
Has that been hard, the homeschool?
It was a little bit in the beginning, because I think one of the things, like now it's like a well-oiled machine, and I'm doing pretty much everything I need to do and hitting that mark consistently. But like you have to also take him into account. Like I'll be like, let's work on our letters and boop boop boop. He'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. What's this letter? It's an A. He's V. I'm like, come on, you know this letter. B. What's the letter? And so it's like that is part of the patience that I've been taught. But yeah, there's definitely moments. I can't really pinpoint a ton of moments that would be, good to be like, hey, this was a challenging moment and this is what I learned, because it's literally every day, almost every moment. So
it's almost hard to even assess right now, a lot of it, because we're just in it. We've all adapted to a lot of these things. So it's like you're not even going to be able to process it till maybe, I don't know, maybe this is how it's going to be for a while. I have no idea. Like
you meaning what's going on in the world? Just
the world. I'm trying to relate to what you're saying with the, everyone just had to adapt. There's really no time to think.
Yeah. We planned the whole having a child, approaching it the right way, I think.
I see what you're saying. Like, you guys plan for this no matter what.
In some respects, like you cannot, you can, what I always try to tell people if I have some sort of deep conversation with them, LaCroix got me belching. And what I want to pass on to my son is that the only thing you can control in this life is your effort. You can get up and say, I'm doing it or I'm not. And you can waste that day. Lord knows I've done it, but at some point, you have to understand that all this planning and trying to control and what you want and all that, the world doesn't give a shit. It's going to do exactly as it's done. It'll keep spinning. People will die. People will be born. This is it. And so
we may go,
that helps.
But this place ain't going anywhere.
No, not at all. And the systems won't either. They're working exactly how they're supposed to. And so when you realize that, and then obviously you take on the task of raising a child, someone that you hope is going to be a productive member of society, you start to understand the parallels between raising a child and life, which, I mean, I guess it's not a parallel. It is just, they're both life, but it's like all the things that, we talked about in high school, what we were going to do, talked about in college, what we were going to do. We did a lot of those things, but a lot of those things didn't happen for reasons that are not within our control. And that's the same thing with raising a child. There's going to be things that happen that you can't control it. It just is going to be that way. You have to adapt on the spot, or you'll be a shitty parent. And I didn't have, my dad kind of, in terms of like his availability, that was the shitty part. But my dad gave me a lot of game. But my mom is the one who reared this. She's the one who put the confidence in me. She's the one who put the undying thirst for knowledge. She's the one who put the question everything into me, and so did my grandfather. So did my grandmother.
Rest in peace to both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. But, my mom gets that credit because it's like, in some of the things and conversations that we have now, it's like, sometimes I might think of like, well, you kind of raised me this way, so like you can't be surprised that I'm coming with this position or saying this or what have you. But it's I can only hope to give my son an inkling of that. And if I do, I will equip him better than most people are equipped. And so that's like the I guess that answers and goes back to the question of what is hard about it or what makes it hard. It's like you're balancing the world with, I want this person to have a good childhood, grow up wholesome, not have to worry about me putting on my mental stuff onto you and other people. You know what I mean? It's a lot.
Yeah, no, and like as you're saying it, I'm like, well, yeah, like when you think about it, it's like you're trying to, like you said, the world's going to go on and the system's in place, things are going to happen, but at the same time, you want them to experience that, but at the same time, you want to equip them with a mentality or knowledge how to navigate it at the same time.
Exactly right. And it doesn't always work. Even though I've given all the credit to my family, I didn't take the right path multiple times. I just decided, fuck it, I'm going to do it my way. My path was laid out for me very easy. Go to college, get the job, stay in the job, die happy. I didn't want that. And so I went other avenues. I said, I'm a creative. Why am I doing all this other stuff? I don't care about none of this stuff. So now it's about, as you get older, balancing the necessities and fueling those by a job or some income coming in. T-shirts that you can get here, shout their names, Navu Apparel.
I was going to get to that.
That's a company that my mom and I started in loving memory of our ancestors, navigating you towards knowledge through apparel. That's the goal. And I made this particular shirt, Shout Their Names, because the names are too innumerable to list. And it's a shame that we have been shouting these names for 400 plus years, since enslavement. So it's all about getting all of that stuff, distilling it down, not scaring someone, the little one, and presenting that knowledge in a way that is palatable so that they can navigate properly. Because one thing that was great about my adolescence was I was able to start companies. I was able to, try to do a little business here or there, working with my grandfather with Rimball, which he had for 40 plus years and all of that type of stuff. Like all of that, whatever it is, I don't know if you put it in like a manual and be like, here, child, this is what you got to learn off of. But that's kind of the goal.
Yeah, and you mentioned I wanted to, yeah, you've always since I've met you been very entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
And I know your grandfather himself was a very entrepreneurial person,
Yeah.
amazing man. Is that something you think you were born with, or you think that's something that was influenced into you, or do you think it was a kind of a little bit of both?
I mean, it just has to do with the proxy of seeing him. That was probably it. You know, from being, what grade was I in? Fourth or fifth? And yeah, fourth or fifth grade, you know, having my bike, looking for carts for my candy shop around the town, and like anything that I wanted to do, you know, even going back even further, going back even younger, me inventing my first invention called Kick Hoop, which was an aid for soccer players to train on, you know, and that being a product that was sold and, you know, put in big expos and all these types of things. And I got exposure to United States soccer program. And it's like anything that I kind of wanted to sink my teeth in that had anything to do with business or entrepreneurial efforts, I was always supported. Like my mom said, "Oh, you're gonna start a candy thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I need to go get some candy from Sam's Club, and I'm gonna sell them for 50 cents a piece, even though I got it for $3." You know, and that was something that was always pushed. And you know, in high school specifically, it was like one of them things where, you know, our parents would give us allowance and different things like this every now and again, and we always had what we needed, but we wanted to go to, you know, Peoria on the weekend and go to Northwoods and get some forces that were fresh for $68, or grab a jersey or a t-shirt or, you know, new headbands and stuff like that. So it was always about do something where you could put a little bit of money in your pocket too. And that was the one thing that I learned from my grandfather. I mean, it'd be summers hot as hell down on Southwest or down on Adams in Peoria, Illinois, packing up games, just sweating our asses off. Me and him doing like 400 games from top to bottom, from making the box to sealing everything up to getting it on the pallets to giving it to the freight guys. And it was a really good experience because I got to learn what it takes, you know, to get somewhere.
No better business education than that.
None. And that's why, like, when I went to school and I'm in business classes and stuff, I'm like, man,
I've done this.
I did all this. Like, I just, you mean to tell me QuickBooks to do all the math? I just got plugged the numbers. Like, I don't need this shit. But, you know, in this world, obviously, you need a piece of paper some places for that validation. Right. But it's like, I knowing myself now, even if I did have, you know, the master's, doctorate, all these types of things, it's like, would I have actually utilized those things in terms of making my living, or would I have just done those? What I wish I did, specifically in high school, was say, screw sports, screw any extracurriculars. I'm just going to do this music, period. And went straight to, you know, Berkeley School of Music or, you know, USC. And, you know what I mean? Really just focused in on the music thing, because it's like years later, that's what I'm still doing. And that's the only consistent thing in my life in terms of craft. And I learned all the other stuff out of necessity. You know, it's like SJD TV. When we start, we need somebody to do logos. I'll learn how to do that shit. Oh, we need a website? I'll learn how to do that shit. Oh, we need to do this? Okay, cool. You got the camera stuff? Perfect. So it was always watching my grandfather, and I don't want to say hustle with the connotation that people think it has. Like, oh, he was selling cane and, you know, no. He literally could look at anything and make money off of it, make a business. He had shoe shine businesses back in the 70s. And, you know, he, as you said, an incredible man. And he's the one who really gave me that entrepreneurial spirit.
Switching gears a little bit, you had mentioned your Nauvoo apparel.
Yeah.
And the Shout Their Names and everything like that. And
Know Your History t-shirt, which lists 7 different scholars. And if you Google their names, you will start to understand history. And it's know your history, and it's not specifically guided towards black folk only. It's your history too. As a white man, you sit a descendant from an African. Mm-hmm. Everybody on this planet is a descendant from an African. And so I think that once that's widely understood and people start to understand, where did science come from? Where did the, not what they have now as religion, but spirituality come from? Where did these amazing building trades come from? Aliens didn't build the pyramids. What people want to say that they did because it's just unexplainable to the mind now, but as some theories out there, and I'm going a little bit deep.
We can go deep.
Yeah, we can go deep. But the younger Dryas theory that says that there was an impact 12,500 years ago also validated the fact that the Sahara Desert was a wet, marshy land. There was likely tributaries and rivers and things that ran horizontally across Africa that connected the Atlantic to the inland parts of Africa, the delta of Egypt specifically, the mouth of, going up into the Mediterranean and all of that area. So we get taught these things in small little boxes in a curriculum that gets presented to you because a bunch of people decided that's what's cool. I read a quote that Anthony Browder was talking about on one, and that's a good name for people to look up in terms of symbolism and the tie to Kemet and masonry, and it's demystified. Like the things that you see all over and you think they're one thing, they were stolen from another thing. And so I think once people start to see that, you can see the grand manipulation, if you will. You can start to see through some of those things, and all of that is what has kind of given my mom and I the energy to put these things out and to try to say that, okay, there is evidence that there were people here at one point way longer than what the Bible is telling you. And that is a fact. That's the reason why they find bones like Lucy, who happens to be I think they found another one that was the missing link between Homo hominidae and some say, I'm not, whatever you call it, paleontologist, whatever it is.
Anthropologist.
Whatever it is. Yeah, what anthropology, I think, is what it is. Study of people in the past. But that's something that it's like, and another thing that I want to make a comment on is that when you do shit like this, you understand that it's not widely going to be accepted.
It's a lonely road.
At the beginning. Yeah. I have a couple of things in the works where there's some influencers and some people who are going to wear my shirt, and I'll be able to kind of put it out there and maybe siphon some folks from that. But it's like when you're talking about things that go against what you have comfortably agreed to from what you've been taught, that's heavy. And some people look at it like a book by Ivan van Sertima. They came before Columbus. There are people still to this day that refute that Africans could get from Africa to the continent of North America. But yet plenty of people, one Norwegian guy put up a bunch of reeds, the reeds that you can get that are widely found in the Nile from the banks, and made a boat out of it. He took a particular route of which he was able to go from, I want to say like the northwest of Africa to like Nova Scotia or something like that. And so when you have things come out like that, and then me having read Ivan van Sertima's book, They Came Before Columbus, in it there is a passage of which Christopher Columbus's brother says that in order to navigate these seas, we had to learn from Africans. Some of these Africans talked about different areas along the western coast that would allow you to get to places like Brazil, to places like Cuba, Nova Scotia area,
United States.
Yeah, the U.S., the North America, without having to deal with, you know, choppy seas and a bunch of weather and all that type of stuff. It's just pretty much smooth sailing. Yeah, you have to deal with storms and things like that, but it just, when you start to pull these different things and you corroborate what you've read or an anecdote from someone firsthand who's talking about this mystical information that was passed down, and then a guy who's a Norwegian reads a couple of books and then just decides to do a test and is successful, now you start to understand that a lot of these things that we thought were impossible so long ago were not only easy for these people, but they were masters at them. And so that is the whole thing about Nauvoo apparel. Nauvoo apparel. Navigate you through apparel towards knowledge.
Man, there's so much I want to say off what you just said. Well, because it's one thing that right off the top is like, it's like, and you and I have this talk all the time, is like, as much as we think, I feel like there's a lot of society who makes us feel so superior because of this technology.
That's right.
These phones, these laptops, these computers. Like, look, I'm grateful that we're able to do what we're doing right now like this. But
of course.
In a way, we're losing intelligence at the same time. I was listening to someone and they said, like, people can't do math anymore.
Right.
Because they just whip out their phone.
Yep.
And they don't memorize phone numbers anymore. It's just all right there.
Right.
It's convenient, but is that necessarily...
Yeah, because what happens when you're stretchered out and you are severed from the spine, you know, neck down, and they're like, who can we call? You don't have a phone or anything. It's like, I don't press mom. It's like, you don't know her number? Like, what's going on? Like, I mean, think of the...
I don't know where you were going with that.
Think of the application of it. It's like we just have gotten away from some things that were just normal, everyday parts of life. To, you know, picking up a phone and everything is right there.
Remember back, was it early high school when we had phones? Like, I had everyone's phone number memorized.
Yeah.
I had it all memorized.
I still remember everybody's phone. The 647 and then whatever your 4 was, or your cell phone, 224, 338s, you know, 678s, like 338s, I still remember all that.
Instead of getting absorbed into going down an Elon Musk, us getting absorbed into technology rant, which we could do.
Easily.
I want to go back to the Africa thing.
Yeah.
One thing I've always been really appreciative of you, and the more cities I've gone to outside of Canton, Illinois, the more like I'll stop and pause. I'm like, oh, damn, like, oh, Marcus grew up over here. Yeah. And then he came to this small town of 20,000 people, and he was one of the very few black people in the town. And you know, you were one of the first black people I ever met growing up in a small town. Yeah, that's growing hilarious. Up where I grew up. I mean, I had met black people, but then actually became friends with the black person because you came to our high school. Right. And was one of the few black people there. And I've always appreciated you educating me and you know, allowing me a safe place to ask questions and have conversations. So
for sure.
I'm just curious if you could just whatever direction you want to take it, give your perspective, you know, as being a black man in the United States.
Well, to quote Paul Mooney, the black man is the most copied thing on the planet Earth. Like it's you have that. And then you have the, you know, police brutality. So being a black man in America, for me, it's multifaceted because there's plenty of people who don't think that I'm black or don't know that I'm black, and they'll say different things. I've had it happen to me multiple times where somebody says something, and then I'll be like, I'm black, and then they're like, oh, I thought you was like Mexican or Arab or... I mean, I've heard it all. I've heard Arab, Mexican, Spanish, like all types of different things. And so that portion of it is interesting. One But it's like when you, like when everything was really going on with the whole with George Floyd being murdered and all that type of stuff, it was like a part of me felt like, why? I don't understand. Why is everybody so angry and so visceral about their actions? This has been happening constantly. So it's like, I mean, I've had run-ins with the police, but I knew how to navigate those situations. I don't know if I said the right things, if it was luck, if it was God, or what it might have been. And thankfully, I haven't been, you know, I mean, I've had a cop draw their gun on me, but I haven't had, like, been in a situation where I was really fearing for my life. I just felt, okay, I'm not going to do anything to have this person shoot me. I don't say that to say that any of these black folk who are wrongfully killed by the police could have done anything different. And so that's the weird, multifaceted duality of, like, being black in America is not singular, or it's not something that you could just label, because my experience is different than my boy who we're the same exact color, but he's mixed. You know what I mean? That it's going to be completely different for my boy who's a doctor, but he's black as the night. And so he's 6'3", 225 pounds. When he walks in the room, I'm sure people, you know, somebody clutch their purse and, oh, look at this big Negro over here. And then he starts talking and he's eloquent and I'm doctor this and blah. And so then it's like, okay, what has he encountered in his life that has nothing to do with his status, how hard he's worked, etc., etc.? That's kind of, I think, a portion of being black in America, is because you will be judged and you will be put into a box just because of your skin being darker.
And it's not a one-size-fits-all.
Not at all. And that's what's interesting, is because my experience, obviously, we went to high school together, you know, being one of, I think at the time I was, let me see, 1, 2, 3, there's maybe 4 or 5 black kids in the school total,
probably
at that time. And then when I became a senior, that was like junior year. When I became a senior, it was probably like 3 or 4, if that. So that's kind of what it was for me for the majority of my life. I definitely, like, when I was up in Chicago, it was super diverse. When I was I was in California, it was super diverse. But some of these other places, you know, well, even Rantoul, Illinois was super diverse, which is kind of weird.
Is that by Chicago?
No, that's by Champaign, and that was quite a few black folk there. So it's kind of hard to really put it into words, like the feeling or kind of every instance. But my experience has been unique because I went to schools where I might have been one of few black people, but I was on high honor roll. I was noticed as one of the most intelligent people in that school, you know, things like that, where it was like I didn't really, you know, get the, hey, nigger, you know, I didn't really get the, I'm going to try to hold this kid back. And if I did, my parents were there. You know, my mom don't play that. My grandfather didn't play that, specifically when we went to school together. So I think that, you know, being black in America it's a damn near community effort. You know, if you have support in your family, you're going to be dealing with a bunch of bullshit for no reason. I know that I've gotten jobs and interviews based on how I speak. And then when I see them, they're like, you're Marcus? Yes, I'm Marcus. Right then and there, I say, you know what? I'm not going to sit with you. Have a good one. Well, I mean, we can still do the interview. I'm like, no. I know what this is. I'm not dumb. I can see it. I can sense it. You got sweat beading up on your head. You thought I was a white dude, didn't you? You thought because I said, oh, fantastic, I'll meet you at this time and blah, 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 and I'm speaking very proper to you so you can hear everything I say, and then I meet you and you're like, you're a black dude, and you're a big black guy. Oh, my goodness. Like, you have to deal with that, too. And then it's like, I think the one thing that all black people have to deal with is as if there's a stigma attached to us because of, you know, we have ancestors that were closer to the equator. Because that's why our skin is this color. We're all one race, the human race. But then when you start to have these, you know, classifications and caste systems, if you will, that's where you start to have to deal with the bullshit. Thankfully, I didn't have to deal. I mean, I might think of 2 instances in my entire life where somebody said or did something that was like super overtly racist, one of which I just wasn't even privy to. I'm like, what? They said, what the fuck? Who said that? In another situation, being a dude said something to me and I said, don't fucking say that. What is your problem? Why do you feel that you're comfortable? Like, it was a quick conversation, then it got physical, and then there was never, ever any disrespect or anything coming from that person, and that person didn't become a friend, but they respected me after they got their ass kicked. So it's like I haven't really dealt with a lot of that. But I know guys who are mixed who have dealt with a shit ton of racism and a shit ton of just overt, I'm going to call you the N-word and you're not going to do shit about it, and, you know, shit like that. I don't know if it's because I've been this size since I was a sophomore in high school that I just didn't get approached with that. But yeah, it's very difficult to put into words what being black in America is because, 1, the experience is so different for everyone. 2, if people want to dismiss racism and systemic racism and things of that nature, you can't even start to have that conversation. But to summarize my tangents, being black in America, now, at 18, I would have said something different than I'm saying now, because I honestly thought that there was no impediments to what I wanted to do in life. Now that you get into the world and you're in these industries and fields and you start to understand, like, wow, okay. I mean, full disclosure, I don't give a shit. I've been fired from a job within the last 5 years, where a whole new management team comes in. Most of the management are women. I'm on the sales team. I'm kind of running different things here and there. I get called into the office and they're just like, hey, it's just not going to work out. Huh? What do you mean? I'm doing fantastic. Like, what do you mean? I'm killing it. Is there something, did I do something wrong? Did I say? I knew I had done nothing wrong. I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, if I am doing what I'm supposed to do and exceeding these sales quotas, as well as delivering above and beyond my actual job title, because that is what was needed at the time, and you're telling me that it's just not going to work out, why? You barely know me a week. You haven't even tried to get to know me. And so I asked that question of this particular person, and she was just like, I just don't think our styles are going to work. And I said, oh, okay. I was like, I'm not sure exactly. I'm like, what exactly is it? You know, what did I say something wrong to you? Was I aggressive? Was it, well, you are a little aggressive. I said, in what manner? How? Where? What do you mean? And she's like, well, you called in and so I haven't been specifically aggressive towards you. I called in and yelled at someone because they didn't do something that they were supposed to do, and I took care of it. Is that like, if that's what you're saying I'm aggressive for, cool, that's fine. But knowing 100% that instance was because this woman did not want to work hand in hand with a black person, because there was other black folks in that area. Other people who you probably didn't know who they were, and they were reassigned or let go or taken out of the office and put into a whole nother area. And it's like, I see what's going on here. But then when you say, okay, this is clear discrimination, let me go take this up the food chain, talk to a lawyer, go to the EEOC. Well, I don't really see anything here. So you mean to tell me that someone who is exceeding all goals, all expectations, is told that they're being let go, they then let me go, say, oh, well, you're so excellent and so intelligent, you're going to land on your feet in no time. We know that's what was said as I was walking out the door. Then subsequently, I find out that every black person or brown person who was in that office now gets moved to another site, of which they don't deal with that management team. They're dealing with other people in another area. But that doesn't look like discrimination? A government agency says this. And so I say all that to illustrate that is what it's like being black in America. You can be doing better than everybody around you, your counterparts, outselling them, outperforming them, out whatever the fucking them. And you will be taken down a peg simply because of the color of your skin. That is the reality in America that people want to act like has gotten better. Less than 50 fucking years ago, they were sicking dogs on people in public. So this notion that racism is dying and people are becoming more aware, no, they're not. People are falling deeper asleep and not understanding what is actually going on right in front of them. And so that's really what the black experience is. It's a weird hodgepodge of illogical, nonsensical happenings that you have to navigate. And you just gotta be better than everybody else. You have the pressure on you that you have to work harder and be better. Otherwise, whatever chance you get or whatever chance that you think you're going to get is not going to be there. And that's daunting to a lot of people. Because they don't tell you any of this when you're in high school and you're a young whippersnapper and you're going to college and the world is in front of you and you're about to get your education and start a business and do all these things. They don't say that, well, you can have perfect credit and go to a bank and that banker just doesn't want to sign the loan because he don't like you. You're black. That's the reality. And I think that that's not the reality for everybody, because there's plenty of successful black folks and there's plenty of people who get into these upper echelon positions. But at some point, to get a quote unquote seat at the table, you have to capitulate to things that it's not who you are. You know what I mean? Like one of the main reasons that I always wanted to have my own business and have something coming in elsewhere is because nobody can tell me what to put on my t-shirts. Nobody can tell me how I'm going to do a website. Nobody can say anything about my business methodologies and how, I manage putting together certain things. Like, those are things that I know that won't be touched by idiocy. And that's really, to try to give a short summary, that's kind of the experience. Not for everybody, as I stated already, but it's very interesting. It's in talking to my white counterparts, having you as a brother for years and years and years, and saying, have you dealt with this or you dealt with this, or telling you some of my experiences, and it's just like, it's clear as day. Like, God, that's fucking ridiculous. And having that, and the one thing that I enjoy about, 3 of my best friends in the world, of which being white men, they've taken the time to understand my perspective. They've taken the time, you obviously included in that, taken the time to educate themselves and to call out systemic racism, to call out the bullshit that they see. And that's what's needed. This whole, people being woke and all this. No, it's just about being fucking decent.
You lead me into, and we could talk for 10 hours.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course. But there's one question, like, as we're talking, it's like, I feel like if we want to go here, we do. If we don't, we don't. But like, I feel with politics, like, I feel people take advantage on both ends of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. Political parties take advantage of racism and use it as selling points for things. But like, as you're telling me these stories and things, I'm like, and sorry to cut you off, but not even talking racism, just looking at the mechanism of television and news, it's called programming for a reason. Right.
How do you get good at something? You do the shit over and over and over again until you master it. It's the same thing about the brain and the memory. If you are exposed to something nonstop, you will think that way, or you will have, something emotionally tie into something that might not be right, but is right for you. And I think that compounded with racism is why politics is the way it is. Mm. And you have so many black people who, the connotation of the stigma of the words, in terms of conservative and liberal and moderate and libertarian and all of these fucking labels, that's just more to divide. And I had somebody the other night, I had posted something on this guy's Instagram specifically talking about politics and the relationship with black people to the Democrats and all these types of things. And I said that I just find it interesting that people can look at information that is verifiable to their degree and whatever they want it to be. I don't care. But when you're an investigative journalist or somebody who's looking for evidence, the burden of proof is that you corroborate it with some physical evidence. You have something maybe anecdotal, a witness or a first person or something like that. But even presented with that, you have black people gleeful about their oppressors. That makes no sense to me. And that is just something that's really bizarre to me, is that I could make the statement, I do not support Biden, I do not support Donald Trump, and then make a statement like, think for yourself. Don't let a TV tell you what to believe. There's information that you can seek that has no partisan slant, or is that the right word? Yeah, no partisan slant. And you can just take in the information and just look at it for what it is. But even saying that, the cognitive dissonance sets in. If I am attacking something that you are tied to emotionally in your heart, your family for generations been voting a certain way, Republican or Democrat, and I present some information to the contrary, people can't handle that. And that's something that I for the life of me can't understand. It's not something I'm racking my brain and wasting my time on. But it's like me just having those thoughts and then being called a racist coon. It's laughable. It's like, this is how illogical and nonsensical it's gotten in the political sphere. You have a group of people who have targeted another group and attacked that group for 3.5+ years. Now, some of those attacks from this group that was being attacked are now coming back to this group, and there's some of the same things that were alleged from this group, of which more evidence is over here to this group. And the reason why I'm saying this group and not mentioning exactly who this is because you can see the stupidity. When I don't label it as what the fuck everybody, these buzzwords that everybody wants to get all hyped about, it's like now you can see, okay, this is a bit of a theater of the absurd. This doesn't make any sense. Where is the benefit of the constituency? Where are the discussions about plans that are going to help Americans? Black, white, Mexican Americans, people who are sitting here in this country legally as Americans. That is one thing that you don't hear from one side. You hear it trickle down in a couple of things of economy, and boom, boom, and it's huge and it's booming and this, that, and the other, and you think that it's helping you in some measured way, whether it be a stimulus check or a tax cut or what have you. But then you hear somebody over here saying, well, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and just on paper, again, stripping the titles and the names and who's saying it, just looking at the information compared to each other, you start to say, well, damn, one of these doesn't seem like it really gives a fuck about me and my. But again, that statement and coming with that point of view, just looking at the information without a partisan slant, you get labeled a racist coon. And this is what is happening with politics. the free thinking or the free thinkers have been eradicated by censorship. They've been eradicated by this group. I guess fact check would be the best way to describe it. It's like I could make a statement, and if you and a group of people don't agree, you guys have now fact checked me and told me that what I said is wrong. Regardless of what is being presented to try to refute it or what have you, it's just like now you've labeled my shit as lesser than. And so now you start to see the manipulation. Just like I said, this group said this, and then this group said that, and then this one was doing it, and then this one was doing it too, and then this. It's just a back and forth. That's the shit that is done in playgrounds. And so when you distill it down and you take out the things that tie to your heartstrings or who your parents voted for and what you were raised as, you start to see the absurdity. And that's why I love the political debate smoke, because I know both sides and I know the information, but I have not supported either one side more than the other, despite what, that person calling me a racist coon by saying, why don't you just be a free thinker? Why are you so worried about news and what these people are doing and all that? I just don't. That's willful ignorance to me. Is if you can sit in a place and comfortably go to that ballot box and vote for someone who has a record of disrespecting you and yours, whether you be black, whether you be Mexican on the other side, whether you be whatever you are, they've won. They have you in the matrix fully fucking plugged in. You are a BTU for the machines. You are driving their system. And so that's what we're dealing with the politics. Because half the people who want to have a conversation about politics, they don't know a fucking thing. The only thing they know is what the fuck MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, all of these organizations who make money off of advertising, in between them, their talking heads spewing bullshit and spins and all that. Like, people aren't intelligent enough to, like, take for instance, I could say that light is bright right here. But this other news organization said, in lieu of what's happening with light bulbs all around the world, someone claims that the light is bright. So it's like, it's the same thing.
It's so true.
But you're throwing all these other words and misdirections and shit that dumbass people, 90% of Americans, I'll say there's probably 10% of people who actually can think critically, who can look below the surface of bullshit and say, oh, there's something else here. Oh, this is trickery. That's why I don't waste my time looking at a lot of this shit, but I'm privy to the information. And some people might say, well, how is that even possible? It is possible. As you and I's conversations, that I won't get into the depths of them, but conversations that we've had where I've said certain things, I ain't looked at a CNN or a Fox News. I didn't get that information off of there. People don't realize that there's other informational sources all around the world that have nothing to do with America. And so that is why I love having political conversations with people, because I actually want to talk policy. I actually want to talk about what are we going to hold these people's feet to the fire and say, these are the things that we want and need. Do you want to live in a place that is fair and balanced for everyone? Or do you want to live in a place where they say everything is supposed to be fair and balanced for everyone, but you literally look at certain areas of the country and you're like, y'all been here for 100+ years and ain't shit good for anybody living here. Black, Mexicans, poor whites. I'm talking about the hoods. And, this whole attributing bad areas to democratically run areas, and there's Republican areas that are shitty too. But it's like, when you start to look at these politics, And then we're talking about technocrats and different people who got billions of fucking dollars microdosing on fucking psilocybin every day, and they're coding and coming up with algorithms and shit like that. What does that have to do with the poor person? What does that have to do with, you know, Joe the plumber, or whatever they had back in the day?
I forgot about that.
You know, like the middle class all person, you know, that archetype. But it's like, I just don't understand. It's just a weird thing to look at politics, because, as I told you in our personal conversations, my aunt sent me a bunch of things that I didn't think that I was going to be able to get my hands on in terms of my grandfather's writings. And a letter that he wrote in June of 1984, I swear to you, if you cover up the time, the date, and read it, it reads exactly what's going on today. And so my question that I ask myself is, if it's been 35 plus years since he wrote that and felt that way and was spot on, and it's the same shit going on, so why the fuck are people cheering in the streets? Why the fuck are people on the other side being like, oh, well, the world's over and this motherfucker? I don't hear anybody talking solutions. I just hear arguing, bickering, and bullshit. And then when somebody does talk about what's actually been done, that is verifiable through Googles and all of these other types of things, then you're labeled a coon and a racist. Because I can read information and say, okay, this person said they were going to do this and this happened. But yet this person says this, and then a whole bunch of fucked up shit happened for people who got the same skin color as me. So it's like, you can call somebody racist, but the true definition of racist is having the power to oppress. You know, that's not the Webster's dictionary, but that's definition. But that is what it is summarily, is that you hold power to be an oppressor or to oppress someone. Think about it. A racist is someone who holds the power to oppress, not someone who makes statements that you deem racist, if that makes sense. And again, I'm specifically not saying who these are attributed to. People, I'm sure, can figure it out. But once you start to kind of look at it for what it is, below the surface of bullshit and getting you emotionally riled up so that they can steer you a certain way, you start to say, why the fuck am I going to take part in this shit? Why am I going to give energy to a sham? And then you just sit back and you look at people and you just hope that some of your family members are more intelligent than they seem to be at this moment. And so it's for me, politics is just not something. And I thought about going into politics and being a political science major, and I had a bunch of avenues of which I could have followed to kind of go that route. But then I just started to really read. I think I saw Zeitgeist, and then I started to read a little bit more, you know, a bunch of books from the Black Panthers, specifically talking about COINTELPRO, the FBI, and different things. And I'm like, so this shit is happening right in front of our face and nobody's none the wiser. And from there, it unraveled.
All right, my friend. Well, that is why I love talking to you and learning. And there's so much more we could say, but we got batteries dying.
Yeah, we overran the time.
We overran the time, but man, love you, brother. Thank you so much for doing this. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. I am MOA Man, MOAMAN. MOA Man Music. You can look at just follow MOA Man Musings. Just look for me at I am MOA Man, IAMMOAMAN on Instagram, and I'll let you know where everything else is at. Nauvoo Apparel, you can get that. That's it.
Awesome. And we didn't mention we're actually at the M Resort here in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
I like the M here. And
yes, sir.
And also the outro music, which is about to come in, and the intro music was produced by you.
What? I did that?
You did that.
Yeah,
we didn't even touch upon music. We'll definitely
we'll
do this again, man.
For sure.
We'll do this again. So much love. Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Until next time.
Always.
All right.